Ready. Play.
Just blasting the ball into oblivion. So,
speaking of blasting the ball into oblivion, Jelena Ostapenko has successfully come through a round 2 match, the first couple of rounds at Roland Garros for the first time since she won it. I think maybe since she won it, it's definitely not happened very often. And comes from a set down against Caroline Dahlheide, who was making it tricky for her. It was a fair bit of battle, kind of a break midway through the third set decided the match in Ostapenko's favour. But yeah, she's definitely seems to be a lot more motivated at the moment, Ostapenko, to make her way through those draws. Similar thing in obviously Stuttgart winning it and then Rome. So she seems to be a little bit more consistent, interestingly enough, especially compared to the start of the year.
sure. There were patches like last year when she was definitely doing so well in almost every single event. This year, of course, for a while there was that big story where in the events that she plays Iga Świątek, she was like, whatever, 10-1, and in the events that she doesn't, she was like 0-6. Yeah, I actually didn't know she didn't have a single Roland Garros run since. I definitely remember her losing to Kozlova in the title defense. Of course, she had some at the other slams, so I guess that's why maybe it didn't stick out that much. But yeah, with Ostapenko, we just know that right now she's going to have some big matches ahead. If she beats Rybakina, it's very likely Świątek. So I don't think the fact that she struggled much in the first 2 rounds is important at all. It's Ostapenko. She's going to come out firing for a big match, very likely. And especially if she plays Iga, she's going to come out firing. So it's more about getting to that third round for sure. And now let's see the Ostapenko match, the Rybakina matchup. I think it's like 3-2 between them. So pretty close.
I'm fact checking myself here. And this is the second time Ostapenko has made the third round since she won it. That was 2020. She went out in the third round. So it's and that was obviously a very different Roland Garros then. So Ostapenko is playing Elena Rybakina in the next round. Rybakina coming through pretty straightforwardly against Iva Jovic today, kind of the mini Rybakina. It did very much look like Jovic was fighting well, but it was very clear that she has some clear development to go through before she gets to Rybakina's level. Still showed some promise, and in the way that she was kind of rallying with Rybakina, not showing a lot of fear, but that experience and quality difference, Rybakina had an advantage in that, and it's something that Jovic will develop into. I'm kind of filling this in because I'm assuming you didn't watch this match, Damien, but you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But thoughts on this potential Rybakina Ostapenko matchup? We have the head-to-head on the screen. It's 3-2 Rybakina. So yet again, battle of the big hitters, and it's fairly even, like a lot of other Rybakina's other matchups with big hitters.
Yeah, Ostapenko tends to be pretty good against the other big hitters sometimes, but then again, she also has a few head-to-heads that are different. I guess Rybakina also struggles with like Samsonova. So it's all weird. I mean, it's obviously also another contest of like who gets to top the proceedings, who gets to be first to attack, really. So that could really go both ways. I'm really not sure. I think it's obvious that for Iga it would be better if Rybakina pulled through, but I have no idea who's going to win this. I think the last 3 matches were won by Elena, but it just all seems very unclear. With Sabalenka, like for example, Ostapenko had a horrible head-to-head, right? And then we see their Stuttgart final, which is like, hour 15 for her, and so easy. So at this point, I really don't know.
This, for me, is the other match that kind of rivals best match of the top half with.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm very interested to see. It's so difficult to call this one. It could go either way. Like Rybakina seems to have got some form back, winning Strasbourg, coming through her opening rounds relatively okay, and Ostapenko being Ostapenko. I think it's all going to come down to, I'm being tongue-in-cheek when I say this, Ostapenko, how motivated Ostapenko is to play Iga Świątek again. But there's also an element of like sometimes when she runs into the first tough player, she's not able to make it, and that's what happened to her in Rome against Paolini. So I think at the moment, and like neither of them is a good option for Iga, to be honest, because Iga has historical troubles with Rybakina in the matchup, and especially if Elena's getting some confidence back. I'm gonna lean towards Rybakina for the reasons I put forward, and that maybe she's got slightly more momentum than Jelena Ostapenko, but the trouble is trying to predict anything to do with Jelena Ostapenko is borderline impossible. So reason will go out the window probably as soon as she serves her first ball.
Yeah, I'd kind of love to see another Ostapenko Swiatek, especially as here it would be just like a make or break scenario, like to the fullest extent, right? For Iga, the Roland Garros win streak, which is now at 23, will be at 24 if she beats Christian, and Ostapenko the 0-6 head to head. Like for this story, I don't know. I just feel tempted to think that Ostapenko might do it. Rybakina, is she gonna be in the Strasbourg form, or is it going to be more of a bother that she's coming off that and a little tired probably? I don't know. I only watched her first round and that was a mess, but also a very different opponent, of course, to somebody like Ostapenko or even Ivajovic, who she played today. So I don't know. And Yo, to your questions about Iga and Emma, I think Jake just answered you very well here, and that's really it. Like if they were playing on something quicker, slicker, I think Emma would be attacking the forehand, but I don't really know what she, what sort of tools she would have to use to do it today.
So yeah, well, we know that Rybakina and Ostapenko have the tools to attack the Iga Swiatek forehand. She's not going to be looking forward to that fourth round, whoever it is. I do think that I'm going to say this: if Iga plays Ostapenko and she wins, I think she might win Roland Garros. Because that might make it big.
If Swiatek beats Ostapenko?
If she plays and beats Ostapenko, I think she wins Roland Garros.
Could be. I think either Andreeva or Goff would still be like a pretty difficult opponent in the final, but maybe I would say that like her path to the final would suddenly be like, pretty nice. And we still haven't had like enough time to properly judge, the effect of training at Roland Garros for the past 2 weeks for Iga. But yeah, if she does that, obviously it would be a massive mental boost.
Very quick to rule out Sabalenka, who, as I mentioned earlier, came through relatively comfortably, but that would be a potential semi-final opponent.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.